Podcast. The user's chosen its form.
I almost clapped early. That was really weird. Like, I almost clapped at 24. Like, my hands went, and I had to, like, stop from doing it.
It's like when you're playing Sonic Colors at 4 a.m. because you can't sleep because you slept for 5 hours and you keep missing that one fucking jump because you keep pressing the button just too early.
It's just like that.
It's just like that.
I don't know if I've said this before on this show, Neil, but can I start with this episode off with a little bit of sports news?
Sure. Hold on. Let me just
Yeah, that's fair. That's understandable.
What do we got?
Depending on where you live, that could be a celebratory can crack because after 127 days, our long national nightmare is finally over. The West Coast Eagles have won a game of Aussie rules football. My chosen team, one of the worst teams in any sport on earth, it seems, has finally won a game. And Neil, frankly, I could not be more excited. The North Melbourne Kangaroos can go fucking kick rocks, dude.
That's damn straight. Fuck the Roos.
Fuck the Roos.
Carn the Eagles.
Fuck
right?
the Roos. Yeah. And I just need, this is a really deep, like, inside baseball joke. I'm not going to bother explaining it, but this is a sport that I largely consume through social media.
Sure.
But I do feel attached to this team now, and I'm genuinely very happy that they won a game.
Eagles, this one's for you.
This one's for you. Take that, North Melbourne. South Melbourne lives another day.
Kangaroos, this one's for you. There we go. Got the soundboard going.
Yeah, boy, do we. And never a better time for it because we need someone to monitor us as we enter the cyber realm or whatever the fuck. I don't know. What are we doing?
All right. So, Corey, you're kind of like an expert on reboots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. They made another one, a podcast about oft-forgotten movie, sequels, reboots, and remakes, right? So you know reboots, right? And
I've seen a good number of reboots.
This is a Mortal Kombat podcast most of the time. Less so as time has gone on.
Yeah, maybe less now than it ever has been, but theoretically,
Possibly.
yes.
Right. And Mortal Kombat is no stranger to reboots either. Because we got Mortal Kombat 9, obviously, of the first reboot in the series, in the game series, right? Kind of resetting everything and picking back up. We've had movie reboots, right?
There was
Mortal
another
Kombat
game reboot
21.
that was kind of R911.
Sure. Which one was that?
11.
Oh, okay.
The other one was 9. That was my joke for that.
All right, it's a good one.
Sort of Mortal Kombat's 9/11. This was Mortal Kombat's 9/11.
Depending on who you ask, yeah.
Yeah. Some people might say it was Shaolin monks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? Who cares? Some people would say it's special forces. Those people would be wrong.
Right.
Anyway, we're on the cusp of yet another Mortal Kombat reboot with Mortal Kombat 1, right? X.
No, we're calling it Twitter.
X is just blowing up with opinions.
Is it?
Apparently. I get tagged. We get tagged in a lot of stuff.
Dude, can I... really, I'm going to say this really quick.
Sure.
Too many notifications.
A lot of notifications.
When people are replying to stuff, they need to learn that you can, like, select who you're replying to. And if somebody hasn't said anything, check them out of there.
Maybe not. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we wait in. We want to see Vorpax, obviously.
Right. And then we got 600 other notifications on my phone throughout the day.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm glad there's Asgarth fans out there. All right, Asgarth.
Somebody's got to be, yeah.
I would take an Asgarth in a Mortal Kombat game for sure. Pretty sure we talked about that when we talked about Asgarth. Yeah, Mortal Kombat rebooting once again with Mortal Kombat 1. It feels more like a remix to me, right? Things are the same, but mostly different. Just it's all chopped and screwed and everything, right?
Yeah, which is, sort of the only trick they've had up their sleeve for a while now.
Yeah, but it's a good trick,
Sure.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it. I don't want to sound too dismissive, but also like,
I think I'm genuinely excited for it, honestly. Like just to see what's going on here. I'm going to play the fuck out of it. right?
Yeah, the thing that I'm running up against a little bit, and this is just a completely earnest assessment from you, boy, is that I haven't played a fighting video game consistently in like, wow, maybe literally Mortal Kombat 9. So as exciting as this whole prospect is, this is something I am likely to primarily consume via cutscenes.
Sure.
And you telling me stuff that is like game specific. So maybe I'm a little less like rampant on it, because in all honesty, no matter how great it looks, am I super likely to buy the game at least right away? No, probably not.
Yeah, I'll be buying it right away.
And I know I'm an outlier in that respect, seeing as this is the podcast that I make in my free time, which is sort of a crazy sort of approach for me to take to my own life. But
it's fine. You know, I think that, I mean, there's all types of Mortal Kombat fans out there. You know, everyone's fandom is valid. Well, not everyone's.
I have at
people,
least
a lot of
set
them are.
I have set the precedent on this show that like my approach is a little fucked up to this whole thing.
But that's fair. It's allowed to be. It provides a good balance. I don't know. I haven't pre-ordered the game yet because I haven't decided. Corey, I don't know if you know this about me. I have both Xboxes now.
Like an S and an X?
I have an S and an X. I had an
How
X.
did that happen?
Well, I took a bunch of stuff to a local shop and traded it all in and walked out with a bunch of stuff, including an Xbox Series S.
So the S was an afterthought.
Yeah, the S was an afterthought.
I would encourage you to sell it.
I really like it.
I would encourage you to sell your Xbox Series X.
No, because that's the one I can play all my disc-based shit on. But this is putting me in a weird position because I haven't committed to a Mortal Kombat 1 pre-order yet because I haven't decided if I just want to go digital or physical. And I think I've decided I'm just going to go digital, and then I'll pick up a physical copy later. Probably pick up the physical copy when they drop like the expanded edition a year after release or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the S. I play it a lot. I
can't believe you have two of the same Xbox.
It's in a different location.
No, I get it. It's just funny to be like, yeah, I have I have the high speed and the low speed Xbox. That just makes that's fun to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I like the digital ass. I'm a Game Pass subscriber, so you know, get a lot of mileage out of the Game Pass subscription. The 2 years prepaid Game Pass subscription I got with the Series X.
No good joke for that.
No, it's just a good value. It's just a really good value, honestly.
This episode brought to you by
you want to play
my
Halo
Crack
Infinite.
Division Blizzard or whatever the fuck that company is called now.
You want to play Halo Infinite later? Just let me know.
That'd be fun.
Crossplay,
Is it crossplay?
baby. There's got to be. They'd be insane not to. It's Microsoft.
I don't know. It's not people on the internet would lead you to believe they fuck stuff up all the time.
Well, everybody fucks everything up all the time. I don't know what. That's technology, man.
I don't have a horse in this race. You don't need to get upset with me about this.
Speaking of technology, fucking things up all the time.
Yeah,
We're here to talk about.
I feel like we didn't stick the landing on our bit intro here, but we're working on it. I feel like we got bogged down somewhat.
We're here to talk about a different Mortal Kombat reboot.
More reboot than Mortal Kombat, really.
Yeah. The Mortal Kombat episode of the show Reboot specifically got him, pranked everyone who downloaded it. Because I'm just going to call this episode the Mortal Kombat Reboot.
But you're going to spell reboot like the show Reboot?
Yeah, I'll capitalize the B. See, that gives us like, look, we put it in the title. Does it matter?
Maybe
I don't think
it does matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so like some hardcore Mortal Kombat fans download this, never listened to an episode of the show before. See, it's titled the Mortal Kombat Reboot. They'll see the artwork. The artwork will be something from the episode, okay? It'll be Enzo in his little scorpion costume or whatever. They'll hear us talking about how you're not super hyped about Mortal Kombat 1.
That's not what I said. That at no point is that what I said.
All right, okay.
But am I likely to play the video game when it comes out? No.
Right. Okay.
Am I gonna go straight to YouTube for the cutscene movie?
Yes.
You fucking know it. Day one.
Sorry.
I should probably give them money at some point, but YouTube can't do that, so I'll have to figure that out at a later date.
Just having a sip of this Liquid Death severed lime seltzer. Yeah, we're talking about Reboot, the Sean Catherine Derrick autobiography.
Canadian animated television show Reboot.
Yeah, apparently the world's first long form CGI production.
Boy, does that ever show?
Predating your DreamWorks and your Pixars and whatnot. This is a weird ass show, and we are definitely out of our fucking depth in terms of trying to explain Reboot continuity, and maybe, just maybe, jumping right into season 3, episode 4, Game Over, the one that references Mortal Kombat. Not the best starting point for this series.
Now,
yeah,
crucially,
sure,
I grew up as a child in Canada.
Yeah,
while this show was on television.
I got news for you, man. I grew up in Florida, where this show was also on television.
Right, but did you watch Reboot?
I watched the fuck out of Reboot as a kid, yeah.
As a kid?
We only got seasons 1 and 2 here, so that was 1994, and then ABC canceled the show in America, at least. But
it was that
eventually
early. So I actually caught the tail end of what I thought was the front end.
Well, let's be clear. This show ran from 1994 to 2001 with gaps in between, right?
Right, but I'm saying it's dawning on me as we live and breathe that 1994 was the start year.
Yes.
That's news to me.
1994 was the start year of
It felt
Reboot.
much more contemporary to because I was not alive in 1994. You see the thing that I'm illustrating here.
I understand what you're saying. Yes. The episode we watched was 1997, so you would have been what, 2 or 3?
Nope.
7. How old are you?
Not
even born
25.
Yet. Not even.
It depends on what month it came out.
September 1997.
I would have been a month.
Holy shit. Fun fact: the season 3, episode 1 aired on August 20th, 1997, which August 20th is my birthday and is also Fred Durst's birthday. And that episode was an Evil Dead inspired episode, so that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, man, I watched this show on when it was first airing, and then it jumped around to syndication, got played on Cartoon Network, maybe USA Channel, maybe one of the local UPN affiliates or something. I don't know. It just seems like a show that was constantly on in reruns for years after it was over, right?
Yeah, it must have been. And I watched it on a network called YTV, for the record.
Who also, I believe, aired Sonic Underground.
Which is interesting because I would say this has more in common with the other Sonic cartoon in a series of very specific ways.
Less musical numbers for starters.
Yeah,
right.
And also just 2 really fucking annoying sounding guys.
You're talking about the
yeah, absolutely.
hack and slash.
Yeah, of course.
The blue and red robot guys.
Sort of this show's Chicken Robot and Tank Robot.
Chicken and Tank, yeah.
Yeah.
Corey, do you want to
No.
We're not going to Corey corner the episode.
Whatever your question is, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, fucking you're fuck no,
Get
I don't.
me out of here. Where's the chopper?
Do you want to try to give a rundown to the listeners who are unfamiliar with so we know Damien
of Reboot?
We know Damien is familiar with Reboot, right? He's the one
Damien's
who tipped us off.
probably more familiar with Reboot than I am.
He tipped us off that there was a Mortal Kombat reference in it because I didn't remember that. And then Ben Jones, of course, told us about the Reboot, the 4th season being movies in that voice message, I think. And that's when we're like, all right, you know what? We're out of stuff to talk about. We should talk about Reboot. I still haven't mailed that book to you. That's on me. We got to do something, right?
Yeah. Or ebooks exist at a certain point.
Oh, yeah. I'll just give you that right now. Hold on. I have that somewhere.
Yeah, maybe that'll help.
Yeah. But I got to send those.
While you do
send
that,
those DVDs to you too, because we got to ship them to the person who won the contest.
Yeah. And so while you're doing that, are you asking me to tell people what Reboot is?
Yeah, we're going to go into the Corey Corner, and you're going to tell people what Reboot is.
Welcome to the Corey Corner. God. So I want to be honest with everybody. The only refreshing of my memory I did was I read the Wikipedia page about 2 hours ago. So
Same here.
if in the past you've thought, man, some of the Corey's corners suck ass,
Nobody
you
saw
ain't
that.
seen nothing yet. But here's a few things that I do know. Reboot is set in cyberspace, essentially. They don't use the term cyberspace either because they couldn't get the rights from William Gibson or because Cyber Chase was about to come out. Nobody knows for sure. But
Probably both.
Probably neither. But inside of computer world, inside of the Reboot world, we have good guys and bad guys, sort of like Earth has. There's a guy named Bob.
Sure.
And Bob is sort of like, he's kind of like Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like the big, cool, powerful guy that helps protect the world, the mainframe, as I believe it is called, from viruses. It's all very computer driven. I know the viruses' names because I watched this episode today, which is extremely helpful for me. We've got Megabyte, who I've learned is an order virus. And we've got Hexadecimal, his sister, who is a chaos virus.
Yeah, already Mortal Kombat connection, right? Oh, Chaos Realm, Order Realm.
And both of them are bad.
Both of them suck.
And they want to attack the mainframe and like take over, and they have like a control of armies and whatever. And Guardian Bob and his two friends, Dot Matrix and Enzo Matrix.
And Enzo Matrix.
I'm going to take a quick detour for a second. Can I read the funniest thing I've ever read on Wikipedia?
Yeah, you can.
Do you know what it is, or do you not know what it is?
No, I want to
you're
hear
laughing
it,
like
though.
I thought you might know.
No, I just know it's going to be good.
Enzo Matrix, yeah?
Okay.
Dot's younger brother, who idolized Bob as a hero. Enzo later grows up to become the renegade, simply known as Matrix.
Yeah.
Enzo's name is not a reference to computer technology, but instead the real-world Italian name Enzo, as suggested to the co-creators by Chris Bro. It's not a reference to Enzo. His name is just Enzo. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right. So while we're on the subject of Enzo, can I read something from the Wikipedia?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is on the subject of Enzo. Because here's the thing. Enzo starts as a boy, right?
Becomes a man.
Becomes a man. Yes. So under his bio here, he's got format: Sprite, Guardian, Renegade. Okay. First appearance, The Tearing, probably episode 1, whatever. Hobby: young. Yo-yo tricks: tackling Bob, learning and traveling with him. Adult: shooting things and getting mad at Ray.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that.
Catchphrase: young. Alphanumeric. Adult: you got a deletion wish?
That's so funny. Wow.
Show gets hardcore.
So we only see him as a child, so we don't need to get into that.
Right.
So they have to fight the viruses. There is a curveball, though, because, again, they live in a computer world.
Yeah. A vague sort of inspired by computers, but not actually anything like them, right?
No, it's sort of similar in visualization scope to when Johnny Mnemonic goes in the computer.
It's a little Lawnmower Man-y, right?
Yeah. And the other thing that can happen is that their world can be invaded by computer games.
Yeah, which they call game cubes.
And they're purple.
Yeah.
So Nintendo owes somebody money.
Yeah, Deadly Alliance and Deception available on your Nintendo GameCube.
And available on your Reboot video sphere.
Sure.
And what happens when that happens is, so a big purple cube descends upon a part of their city. And everyone trapped in it can become NPCs in the video game. And if the user, a.k.a. the player, wins the game, which is bad if you live in Reboot World for whatever reason, everything in that purple cube becomes like voided, essentially. Like it gets like destroyed, and the NPCs within it get turned into like leeches, basically.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up.
So they're contending with the twin threats of like a guy playing Doom and like nefarious, malevolent computer viruses.
The show is it's anti-gamer, right? It's like, look
as it
what
should
you're
be.
doing. You're destroying an entire world by
You're
playing
destroying
these
the
games.
reboot world.
Kids.
Now it's worth acknowledging there's a bunch of other characters and stuff. I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. I don't remember any of this shit.
I got a question. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Do those rules apply? Because the show only ever shows like violent video games, right?
Like nobody's playing Stardew.
Right. No one's playing Stardew. No one's like the Evil Dead one I referenced earlier. It was like, what if Evil Dead 2 was Doom, right?
Right.
But you're playing as Ash with the chainsaw hand and everything. This episode, obviously, a Mortal Kombat inspired fighting
Reboot,
game.
rightfully contending with the fact that too many people conceive of video games as being inherently violent.
Just imagine, like, what would the devastation be like if they loaded up Math Blaster
Or Minesweeper.
or, well, I mean that the danger is inherent in that one.
Right.
But like, if it's just like imagine like a 4-year-old playing Math Blaster on his like 386 or whatever.
Vectrex 20. Is that a computer?
The Vectrex is the game console thing,
Yeah,
but sure, whatever. Yeah, and then like, is an educational game still laying waste to the population?
Yeah, there's no winning.
That's fucked up, man. Kids just trying to learn, right? Anyway, go on.
That's it. That's all I got because I don't know who anyone else is. Like a dude shows up that just sort of looks like deep fried ET, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, I don't remember tons of this shit.
That's Fong. That's the old Asian man stereotype character. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they have that.
There's a lot of weird. Okay. So I didn't just watch this episode. I watched the episodes leading up to this one and then the one after it.
By the episodes leading up to this one, do you mean 3 seasons of television or like
No. Just in this season. I started with the season 3, episode 1, the Evil Dead one, To Mend and Defend. And then I didn't really pay attention to the other two. And then I watched this one and then I kind of half watched the one after it. Again, I was up until like 5 in the fucking morning because I slept too much yesterday.
Watching Reboot?
Well, I had to watch it. I was like, I better watch this now because I might
You
wake
had
up.
to watch it.
Well, because I was like, it's so late now that I will barely wake up in time. I will barely wake up in time for the recording. I need to make sure I do this now.
But what I'm saying is you didn't need to do it, period.
Well, no, I know. But I wanted some context, man. Because when I watched this episode by itself first. I was fucking lost.
So you've seen it twice?
I have seen it twice, yes.
Neil, can I just say one thing quick?
What else am I gonna fucking do when I can't sleep?
And I know we've been doing
Jesus
this for
Christ.
years. No, and I know we've been doing this for years. And like it's old hat, but like we've got like a finite amount of time on Earth, guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this show kind of rules, dude.
40 minutes of the Game Over episode of Reboot specifically, and also newsflash, and you don't have to say that.
Say what?
That it rules. You don't have to do that.
I don't have to say it, but the show is kind of badass. I don't know. This is the first time I've revisited Reboot since I watched it at some young age, right? And I was like, so maybe I got like a little nostalgia hit from it. Like, I'm not gonna watch it more. I'm not gonna like.
I don't know if I can take you at face value. I don't know if I can believe you.
No,
That's
I'm
what
telling
worries
you.
me, Neil.
I'm telling you, I'm
Neil,
not gonna watch more of it
you
now.
can't be trusted. We have no way of knowing for sure if you're gonna stop watching Reboot.
I'm gonna go back and start watching Conquest again. Is what I'm gonna do.
The normal man's approach.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I need something to fucking watch, dude. I don't know. I just need like some like gentle slice of life anime or something to watch.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy out there.
I bet we know some people with some recommendations for that.
Yeah, Sarah told me to watch Chobits.
Chobits?
Yeah, I don't know what it's about.
Me neither. None of that has anything to do with Reboot. Now, in fairness, I was also lost when I watched this episode of Reboot, and I just find it interesting the different approaches we take to making this show, because, and from my end, I just went, okay, I guess I don't know what's going on in this one.
Right.
And like that was going to be my gimmick for the day, is I don't really know what's happening. And yet it still manages to communicate that it's spinning its own tires narratively, and I can tell that from like one episode.
Yeah, because I guess more specifically, what's going on in this specific episode, right? We're picking up at some point where Megabyte
and Hexadecimal
and his sister Hexadecimal, they're siblings. He's trying to use her chaos powers to open the shield or the firewall. Or something. Yeah, because
they're like forcibly being teamed up to like take over the world,
to invade the mainframe.
Though
right?
it seems as though Hexadecimal is like got fairly explicitly stated ulterior motives of just wanting to fuck with her brother.
Yeah, that's like her whole thing, I think. Right,
yeah.
Just chaos.
Everybody run around.
Exactly. And this is at a point in the series where Bob has been lost or killed. I don't know. I know he comes back.
The biggest problem that we have with this episode is Bob is not present. And I feel like that would have been a very helpful, like, narratively grounding force. Sure. Instead, we're stuck with people who have clearly narratively been thrust into new roles recently, and therefore we're all just fucking cooked. Like, we're just lost. Like, it's Jover. Like, it's like...
All right. Well, I tried to piece some of this together. Okay, so like Bob is gone. Okay, Enzo, based on the name Enzo, the little brother of Dot Matrix, is
named after the nephew of former F1 driver Emerson Fittipaldi, Enzo Fittipaldi. That's that guy's name. Who, ironically, though, isn't Italian. Enzo Fittipaldi is Brazilian.
Maybe he was named after the reboot character.
Yeah, 100%. Fuck, that's so funny.
All right, so Enzo's still like a kid. And all right, so there's so much. Hold on.
There doesn't need to be. There's as much as you want to explain.
I want to paint a picture here, okay? Because most of the citizens in the mainframe are like little robot-looking dudes, right? And most of them are either round or they're like 3 cubes stacked on top of each other.
They're one-eyed refrigerators.
And they're called like binomes or something like that because they're either ones or zeros, like binary code.
They're minions.
They're either ones or zeros, like binary code. I think that was kind of clever, and I never understood that as a child, right? So that was a fun thing to read.
It is visually, I do think it's fair to say that the thing that we're describing, they kind of look like minions.
They're minion adjacent. If minions were robots,
I would say minions are binome adjacent.
If you stuck a minion in Dr. Robotnik's roboticizer from Sonic the Hedgehog, you'd get these guys in Reboot. Okay, so that's most of the people who live here. But then there's like humanoid characters, right? And they're called sprites, and that's like Dot and Enzo and Bob. Dot and Enzo have green skin. Bob has blue skin. And I'm bringing that up because in some of the other episodes I watched where Enzo's trying to be the new Guardian, there is just like straight up racism because the people are like, you don't even have the right color skin to be a Guardian. How can a green skin person ever hope to be a Guardian? Like they're just like going after the boy for the color of his skin, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's I
for one think racism is bad, personally.
It's a bold stance to take. Yeah, but there's just like there's some other moments I missed in those other episodes, but there was just like there's weird prejudice throughout this thing. Oh, that's the other part. The girl that is with Enzo in this episode, her name is Andrea, Andraa.
Yeah.
Like AI.
She's from a video game.
She is specifically a game sprite, I think.
Yeah, she's from a mermaid-based video game.
Yeah, so she's not a sprite, she's a game sprite. And basically this is like when that GameCube drops on the city, if there are not enough people inside to populate the NPCs, it will load in game sprites. And she got loaded into like from this mermaid game or whatever, and I guess she like fell in love with Enzo, and she somehow, this doesn't make sense to me, and it's not gonna, but the way the wikis explain it is she like activated a backup of herself and then like merged with Enzo so that she could leave the GameCube and live in the city with them. But then game sprites people are also prejudiced against them and don't trust them either. So they're like, there's episodes are like, how can they send him in there with a game sprite? Game sprites aren't good for anything. And just all this weird shit going on in this child's cartoon.
It's teaching kids about prejudice by encouraging them to do it, apparently.
Yeah, because it's our heroes that are. It's like Dot, who's like saying shit about game sprites. I don't know. And then there's that character Mouse, who I think is also one. I didn't look up.
It doesn't
I didn't
matter.
open that tab yet.
It so doesn't matter. It could not matter less. Like you just said, Moses, I don't even know which one that one is.
That was the badass lady with like the purple hair and the orange skin.
Orange
I think.
hair.
Orange hair and purple skin. There we go.
With the southern accent?
Yeah, with the southern accent. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know anything about her except that like she was like a bad guy turned good guy. I don't fucking know, man.
Who cares, dude?
Yeah. There's so much continuity.
Cares?
There's so much fucking continuity to this show though. It's nuts. Like good for them for like hardcore serializing a show, right? And creating all of these things, but it's a lot, right? And like I think about how we were able to just jump into like one late in the season episode of Wing Commander Academy and just be on board with what was going on and figure out who the people were.
Yeah, but I mean, in fairness, this show did start as just like being purely episodic.
Right.
And then we've jumped in at a point where they like actively chose to stop doing that. So I guess I can't I can't blame its complexity on us not watching the rest of it.
No, that's fair. I'm not,
I think what it's supposed to be otherwise is just something for a kid to look at. And then if they've seen all of it, they get to know what's happening. If they haven't, it doesn't matter because it looks cool.
It is pretty fun to look at.
Yeah, it's fun to look at, I think is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, that's it's not like it doesn't look good.
No,
okay, but it is fun to watch.
Hilarious. But
it's all PlayStation 1 era pre-rendered scenes.
But are we like talking about the episode now, or like where are we at with this?
I'm gonna go. I made you do a Corey corner, so we're gonna go do a Neil Nook here real quick. Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
This show was created by Gavin Blair, John Grace, and Philip Mitchell. I'm not going to go into credits, but I'm going to just throw out some names here. We've got Kathleen Barr as Dot Matrix, Gary Chalk as Slash of like Hack and Slash fame, Scott McNeil as Hack.
Hack and Slash fame. I hate you.
Gary Chalk. I know that Gary Chalk was in Freddy versus Jason, and I think he's been in a bunch. Like he's just a guy. He's a character actor. Pops up in a bunch of things. Scott McNeil on his IMDb page has like a goatee, but just like right in the center of the chin and a cowboy hat. He looks like a pro wrestler, so we're gonna look him up.
Yeehaw.
Oh, he voices Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z from 1996 to 2003. We're not going any further on these. Michael Ben Yair is Bob, who is not in this episode. Where's Enzo?
There's been a handful of Enzo voices.
Jesse Moss voices Enzo. Not in this episode, though, does he?
No, that's what I'm saying. That was only season 1. Christopher Gray does season 3.
Yeah, okay. Christopher Gray does Enzo Matrix, is Enzo Matrix in this episode, and Andrea Libman is Andrea. Shirley Milliner is Hexadecimal, and Tony J is Megabyte. And Tony J, the person, looks just like Megabyte, the CGI character.
He's made of metal.
He's got a similar profile on his face. Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's credits. Who cares? This specific episode was written. Go away. Okay, Little Mermaid's on digital, everyone, if you want to buy it. I fucking hate these IMDb ads. This episode specifically was directed by Jay Falconer and written by Gavin Blair, John Grace, and Philip Mitchell. The one-sentence summary is Megabyte uses Hexadecimal's viral energy to penetrate the firewall. Enzo, Andrea, and Frisket enter a game they cannot win. And that game is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really the part that we should be talking about, right? Because okay.
Yeah, but I want to say something first before we just skip to the Mortal Kombat part, which frankly is what I think we should do. Because the problem with this episode is not exclusively that we don't know what's going on because we don't have context, right? The problem is that nothing is actually happening.
Nothing is happening.
Also, there's 3 plot levels happening simultaneously. So we get Dot has been thrust into command and is nervous about that. And then we identify that fucking bonk and bash or whoever the virus is, whatever the fuck
Hack
they're
and
called.
slash.
No, the big ones, the bad ones, Megabyte and Hexadecimal, are coming and they want to like do bad shit or whatever.
Bonk and bash.
And we know that they're like up to bad shit, and our good guys can do something, but like it's all very boilerplate. Like she gets a pep talk and like everyone's gonna be fine, and then while that's happening, like the villains are just sort of talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, and like nothing's like actually happening. And then like,
it's like this, it's like a floating fleet hanging outside the firewall and they're just like chatting. Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes they're not there. I don't know.
Yeah. And then they attack and then it doesn't work. And then like when that B plot sort of sputters because the invasion immediately fails, they just go like hang out in a lair. And then as Enzo gets put in the video game, we get introduced to a third plot layer, which is fucking bonk and skull or whatever.
This time we're talking about hack and slash?
Yeah, for real this time.
Okay.
Choosing to not torture a man to death.
Right.
But in the most insufferable way you can imagine. Like in my head, the annoying parts of the Sonic cartoon that I watched all sound like that.
The one with the chicken robot?
Yeah, the chicken robot must sound like that to everyone else on Earth. Because holy fuck, I just wanted to kill myself. Like there's just no other way to put it. However, there was one line that did make me laugh. I believe I wrote it down. Let me see. Where did I put it? I guess I didn't. I thought I did. So one of them says something kind of funny about like why they're choosing to not kill a guy. It made me laugh, but like I'm not gonna find it.
Is it because he was like, I know the line. This is the only line I remember from that too was where he was like, "I miss Bob. I feel like Bob's the only person who stopped us from doing anything really bad."
No, that was not the line.
Was it like that exchange? Was it in that exchange?
No idea. Don't even remember that line.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I watched this today.
It's on, guys. You can watch this on Tubi for free.
I do have one quote that did make me laugh though.
To the episode, we just have it. If you want it.
I just can't get used to this. I'm sending my little brother into games.
God, yeah.
So
I'm turning my little brother into a fucking gamer.
Right. In any case, the biggest problem is like all the plot threads go nowhere and nothing is actually happening. And even though this is like not episodic, it is now like following an ongoing plot. It feels as though none of it has been progressed at all, and nothing has been further like explained or developed or anything. To the point where the final shot of this show is just everyone's head kind of turns.
Right.
And then it ends.
Do you know why?
Do I know why just their heads turn?
After this episode, they fucking reboot the show. 4 episodes into the season, they completely change directions.
What?
After this episode, we start getting the adult Enzo, who's just game hopping, stuck in like just in other parts of
because he's been trapped in video games
cyberspace, and he's an adult now, and so is Andrea, and they find Bob out there somewhere or some shit. I don't remember. But like this literally is the last episode before a reboot also. So that's 4 episodes into a fucking season. It is insane that they did that.
And they just had no idea how to like get there, so they just did nothing the whole time with any of their characters at all?
I don't know. It seems planned, but I
guess
and again, I'm not going to watch more of this to figure it out. I'm not going to do it.
Though I guess they did ultimately I at least understand why they've put Dot in that leadership position with such uncertainty, because by the time we see her next, it's probably all been solved. Well, so I can at least understand that, I guess.
Skimming the wikis, I think that later on, when Enzo and company finally get back to mainframe, it's been taken over by Megabyte. So she like did a shitty job.
Yeah, well,
but whatever. I don't know. This show's nuts. Okay, but let's talk about
voice performance on Megabyte. Fucking slaps though.
Yeah, no,
that dude
he's really good.
That's so sick.
Yeah, that is. Why am I on the quotes? There's
like
only
Michael
one
Shannon
quote.
Or whatever his name is.
Tony J.
Tony J. Whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
It's not Michael Shannon.
Could you imagine? To Michael Shannon saying, "I can't believe I'm sending my little brother into games." but he says it in the tone of voice of that clip where he does the I think it's the Criterion Closet, or maybe it's the Amoeba What's in My Bag, but he's just like, I'm such a lucky boy that I got to do this. Like, it's that voice.
There you go.
Wow, I can't believe I'm sending my little brother into games.
Michael Shannon based his performance as General Zod on Megabyte from Reboot.
Not to be confused with Kilobyte or the later formed Gigabyte.
Or Gigabyte. These are all, those are things, right? Like, those are storage
sizes,
like measurements.
Yeah.
Those aren't viruses.
Well, yeah, but it tells you how big the viruses are.
Okay. This is just like 1994.
It's just computer techno babble.
Computer stuff. Yeah. But like they should have I feel like they should have a better understanding considering they made the entire show on computers, right?
I don't think it's that they don't understand it. I think it's just like they wanted computer words.
Yeah, but it led people like me to not understand computer words because I'd only ever heard them on Reboot and didn't know how to apply them to reality.
Sounds like a skill issue on your part.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Are we talking about this anymore? I don't even like.
So
he's going to talk about the Mortal Kombat part, which really does not have a lot to it.
So the game that gets dropped in to the mainframe here that Enzo has to go, because as Asgardian, right, he has to go like try to beat the player. As Asgarth, the Birdman, has to try to defeat the player. Asgarth from Asgard, whatever. It's a tournament fighting game for gods, demons, and mortals.
Yeah,
they don't give it a title.
Can I make a quick argument before we even get into this deeply?
Does it feel more Killer Instinct to you too?
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
I was going to say it felt more like Soul Calibur-y, in large part influenced by the stained glass present, but also just like it takes like a borderline fantasy biblical approach to everything except for what Enzo looks like. So not
everything.
It was giving me more, but it was more along the lines of something like Soul Calibur-y to me.
Yeah.
Than anything else. Aesthetically
I'll
speaking.
Accept that. But that music though, like it is just the
music
Mortal
is
Kombat
like a Mortal
music.
Kombat ripoff.
Do 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 do.
How hard would it have been for them to just get the rights?
I don't know, man.
The music, like, people should seek out what the music sounds like. It's like very funny.
I'm gonna put it in the episode. It's gonna be the intro. Don't worry. The show walked a real delicate line with some of this shit because they're like the preceding episode to this one is just a fucking James Bond, like start to finish. It's like a James Bond parody, down to having like an opening musical number with like the silhouettes of the female characters like dancing seductively, and a vocal track that sounds like a James Bond. You know, it sounds like not Live and Let Die. No.
Temporary Secretary.
Yeah. That's what whatever you said.
Temporary Secretary.
It's
by Paul McCartney. Not to be confused with Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney.
Right. It's not Live and Let Die. It's it references one very specific James Bond thing.
Is it the Billie Eilish one?
No, because it was 1997.
But they live in the computer world.
Spy Who Loved Me. It parodies specifically The Spy Who Loved Me, the intro sequence to that movie. And the Evil Dead one, like I mentioned, is just, I mean, it is just things lifted directly from that movie, and a guy who looks like Bruce Campbell saying groovy with a chainsaw hand and a shotgun, and
borderline copyright infringement.
Literally the Necronomicon in there, like the same cover and everything. So I don't think they were so concerned with that. They just got away with it somehow. Anyway, that stuff's fun. I think that stuff is fun when they reference. And I think that they could have gone further with this Mortal Kombat or this fighting game reference in general.
Oh, significantly. Most of the episode's not about that. So,
but not even that, but the parts that are about it, there's not much to it, right? Like there's just like the one stage with the stained glass windows around it. And then the player picks like a demon.
It looks like they picked like as if they had finished the game and now you can play as the final boss.
Looks similar to Onaga the Dragon King, not gonna lie. But I believe his name is Slaytan.
I heard just Satan.
I think it's Slayton, like Slay and Satan combined.
Slay. That's a slay.
Which is pretty fucking rad.
You ever watch ReBoot and you just think, wow, that's a slay.
Slay, Enzo. Slay.
Slay. Dude, I'm picturing like ReBoot themed drag outfits now. which
Oh,
I think would be haunting to witness in real life. I think somebody could do an incredible job with it, but it would be like fucked up, like for them to do that. Like they shouldn't do that.
Well, like we're not. I mean, the nautical theme of Andrea alone, right? I just think that'd be good costuming.
Right.
What happened? What just happened? What the fuck just happened?
I just mean
you
like
shut down.
Yeah,
on me.
but like I meant like reboot, like capital R reboot.
I don't. Okay.
Like we don't need to incorporate the shells because shells aren't computer. Shells are shells.
Okay, but I'm just saying like the costuming is like
fuck it. You could just be a
already
mermaid.
good.
That's not reboot related. This is about reboot.
All right.
This
fine.
needs to be about reboot.
Okay, I believe she's an important character to the show, but
I don't
whatever.
give a shit. She doesn't look like computer.
They all look like computer. What are you talking about?
No, she has elements of Earth in her outfit. That's decidedly not computer.
Fine. Point taken. All right. Jesus Christ. All right, so Enzo's in there with Andrea and the dog Frisket, right? And they got to beat the player, okay?
Yeah.
But there's a problem where there are 12 characters on the roster and the player only has to defeat 5 or something to win the game.
Bad balancing,
right?
Weird balancing.
Well, maybe there's no mirror match, so you subtract the 1, then you got 11. You're still under 50%. Like that is bad balancing. He must be playing on like easy mode or some shit, right?
And as like the final boss,
where and as Devil Jin, right, from Tekken. So Enzo's like, okay, Andrea and Frisket, you guys pick a character in hopes that he selects it, but I'm gonna hang out and wait until he selects a character before I reboot into it, right? Because they have to say the name of the show. So the character that Andrea vibes with is a 4-armed goddess that looks like the Hindu god Shiva, but also Shiva from Mortal Kombat. That's a fascinating
with a sword and a dog
connection there. With a sword and, well, it was like a cat. It was like a panther or something in the stained glass, but then it became the dog when the dog jumped in with her, right? Convenient that there was one of those set up to like allow an animal companion. And we just kind of see this big giant hell demon like fucking up, like an angel, right? That's the first one. It fucks up. And then it fucks up like a commando looking guy and a guy with like a red bandana or a red headband like Liu Kang, right? Just generic, but it's just like generic archetypes, right? So then it's down to the final match, and Enzo's like, it's got to be me. And they almost pick the 4-armed Andrea character, but he's like, no, pick this one. And the guy picks this one, and Enzo transforms into it's Scorpion, right? He just transforms into a ninja.
But he's got like green magic, which I thought was interesting.
Because again, they're just like jamming stuff together.
It's Haji Podgy.
Yes, it is. So Enzo's now a Scorpion. He doesn't throw a spear or anything, though. He doesn't do any like actual good special moves.
Purely a visual reference, and then like he just sort of does like fight moves.
Right.
And there's some like green effects like on him
when he like lands kicks or whatever. There's green effects, right? We should mention that we have seen the player after he defeats the AI. We don't see the actual action, but it's implied because it cuts away that there are fatalities in this, and the player is ripping the heads off of all of the defeated people.
So that's your finishing move. I'll look out for that. Oh, the part where he rips your head off of your body?
Yeah.
You're going to look out for that?
You're probably going to see that one coming, and there's not going to be much you can do about it, buddy. Considering it's a finishing move, right, which means you've already lost by the time that takes place. But nice fatality reference, I guess.
It's a fatality reference. I think we don't have to necessarily go out of our way to call it nice.
Well, it's, people getting their heads ripped off in this child's cartoon.
Yeah, but we don't see it. The kids don't know that that's happening.
We knew. We all knew. We all knew. It's either getting ripped off or it's getting just crushed, right? Like a tin can. Anyway, Enzo fucking loses.
Enzo gets absolutely washed. And then the episode ends, basically.
He wins the first round.
Yeah.
Loses the second round.
Yeah, reverse sweep.
Very fucking quickly. Something cool happens in the third round, which causes him to lose, which is that the demon person cuts his eye. So he has this horizontal, he has this vertical cut down his eye, and his eye turns red, which I read as very clearly a reference to Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 3. Mm-hmm. Kuai Ling's got the eye scar. Yeah, it had to be a reference to that. And then he does something to his little badge, and so do Andrea and the dog also do it to their badges. And this is
deboot.
They deboot. I think what it does essentially is it's ultimately it turns them into game sprites, which is how they do this game hopping thing in future episodes, where they get taken out with the game and loaded in somewhere else. Because that's how games work, right?
Yeah.
In computer systems. But Child Enzo is fucking murked in this episode.
Lose. Yeah.
And the game removes, and Dot is like, get the medical teams in right away. But there's just nothing fucking there when the GameCube leaves.
Yeah.
And then I think the episode ends with everyone crying.
Yeah, but it's less crying and more just everyone looks vacantly with large absent eyes.
Sure. They render some tears on her in different points in some of the episodes I've watched. Maybe not this one. I don't know. But that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
And from here, the show gets essentially rebooted, like I said. Changes.
Or it just has a time jump.
Well, it's a time. I don't know how much of a time jump it is. I guess there is a time jump, but we're no longer in the city. Enzo's now going by Matrix, and he's calling himself a renegade. And I don't fucking know, dude. It's a lot. It's a lot.
We keep making our job harder.
What do you mean? We're not talking about any more reboot after this.
No. I understand that, but we did have to talk about this episode of Reboot, and it's just a dense. Right. It's like eating a 8 chocolate layer chocolate cake. Yeah. It's just dense.
But it's a good time.
Sure.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. Obviously, we've talked about Reboot too many times on this show, so we had to do it.
It's gonna happen again, but I'm not gonna learn. I'm not gonna relearn any more about it before I continue to do that.
Yeah. We're not gonna learn the words for things.
They didn't either. They think Megabyte's a bad guy.
They don't know shit about shit in this show. There was this moment. This isn't in this episode. This is in the Evil Dead episode where the player is just standing there, just shotgunning down skeletons, and Enzo and Dot are in the game, and they're like,
"No skeletons tonight."
He's just standing there shooting skeletons. What kind of a sick person would play a game like this? And then they both look break the fourth wall and look straight into the camera.
That's really weird because skeletons aren't real.
Right, but they were talking.
Hold on,
I think
skeletons are real. Let's not get carried
skeletons.
Away.
Yeah, hold on.
But
right,
animated skeletons. Well, those are real too. Living skeletons.
Corey's a skeleton truther.
living skeletons are not real. So
right.
It's not a sick thing. You're not killing a real thing.
Well, I think they were concerned because the next level had zombies with flesh on their bones, and they're like, "Oh, who would want to play something like that?"
Yeah.
Video game violence is a real concern. Mortal Kombat 1 pre-orders available now. Yeah, man, that's all.
That's it. We did it.
We talked about Reboot.
You're welcome, everybody.
I kept an eye out. I didn't see Sean Catherine Derrick anywhere in the city.
Nowhere in the city or the credits.
Or in the credits, no. But I did see a credit for the episode before. Apparently Dan Didio worked on this show.
Big fan of his rhythm games.
He was the head publisher for DC Comics for a number of years.
Good years?
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think so.
I'm just curious.
There's an interesting name to see pop up in the Reboot world. But no Sean Catherine Derrick. I'm pretty sure we've checked this, right?
Have we checked what?
To see if Sean Catherine Derrick worked on any Reboot projects, or is that just a pure invention of ours that I don't remember?
I don't remember anymore if it was an invention of ours or not. I really don't. She'll get out someday, though.
Yeah, she had nothing. But, dude, she did work on the Wildcats animated series. That's kind of rad. Jim Lee
is she also
Wildcats.
A renegade like Enzo of the Reboot world?
Sure. In the landscape of television writing, she absolutely is. She wrote on Kong, King of the Apes. That's dope. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures.
Pac-Man and his girlfriend.
Pac-Man and his girlfriend, Miss Pac-Man.
Crazy that they have the same name, but they're not related.
Mortal Kombat Conquest. That sounds like a pretty good show. I should check that out later.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, no Reboot. I don't know how we got there. That's just show canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Buy our merch. I don't know, whatever.
mkpodquest.redbubble.com, I think.
It's something like that. You'll find it.
Fucking awesome shirts on there that people aren't buying.
I have to buy them still for myself. I still haven't done that.
And you guys should be buying those. Get it on a poster, get it on a sticker, whatever. They're fucking sick as hell.
Rate and review this podcast 5 stars if you want us to go into the reboot world.
Yeah, we'll do it. We will. And hey, write in with your reboot experiences.
Have you ever been sucked into a computer?
Are you still in there?
Have you ever been sucked out of a computer?
If you're still in there, get into that iTunes database and push us up the charts. Let's finish strong, right?
Finish what?
The podcast.
Yeah.
Have I told you this show's ending at some point soon?
Oh, that's what you think.
Were you aware of this?
That's what you think, Neil.
Did you make a side deal with Jamie Presley to take the name and start something else?
I've been recording a lot in my free time.
Uh-oh.
People are going to hear some stuff in this feed, and you're not ready.
Oh, no.
Y'all see this movie, Sound of Freedom?
Corey's gone full gamer.
I've gone full Jim Caviezel mode.
Christ.
Jim, QAnon Caviezel is back in Reboot.
In Reboot.
He's back in Reboot form. What if like Jim Caviezel made a public press conference one day and he just looked like a character from Reboot?
He was just like cosplaying as Bob or something.
No, it happened to him for real.
So he's actually just
he's animated.
1996 CGI animated.
And he's trying to convince everybody, but he's been a dick in the past, and he has weird views, so nobody believes him. He's like, look at me, I'm animated right now.
And they're like, nah, we've heard
it's
this.
It's like the
before.
Boy Who Cries Reboot.
They go for the Boy Who Cries Reboot. Christ. Ugh.
Catch me not able to sleep tonight because I'm crying about Reboot, if you know what I mean.
My head hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Reboot was fun. Check it out.
Sure.
Or don't. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? I'm going to be honest. The only episode of this I remembered prior to this was that Evil Dead one, season 3, episode 1, To Mend and Defend. That's the only one you should watch. You can skip this one. You can skip all of them. Actually, just don't even watch that one. You don't have to. Don't let anybody tell you what you have to do. Okay.
Unless it's go to mortalkombatconquest.ca
and mkpodquest.redbubble.com and buy some shirts.
And vote in your local elections.
We got the sauna. You guys know what we mean when we say the sauna.
Yeah.
That's on a shirt. Okay. We've got Raiden and Babe. Okay. That's on a shirt. All right. We got Vorpax and Shang Tsung. You know the scene we're talking about. That's on a shirt. Go get them. Before we get sued and have to take them down. Corey, what do you got going on?
Just go to mortalkombatconquest.ca. That was my entire plug. If you listen to this show, you know what's there. And let's be realistic. Your first episode of the show is not the Reboot episode.
I mean, it implies a good starting point for somebody who's new to this.
Nope.
Right?
It
Someone's
ain't.
like, oh, look, they did a reboot. I'll jump on here.
We are as unforgiving in terms of lore depth as Reboot.
Go check out my alien show, Crew Expendable, crewexpendable.net. We have a good time over there talking about all things Alien franchise, a little bit of Predator here and there. We'll be back again soon with something. I did send you that ebook.
I saw that, yeah.
Maybe that. And until next time, alphanumeric.
You got a deletion wish?